I wanted to give you this tour already past weekend, but the recording crashed. So I had to completely redo the recording. But then I noticed that the flyover I've provided is actually not working correctly. So I had to redo the entire 500 camera positions. But then I noticed this is causing some lag on my computer and I had to redo the whole thing over again. However, I managed to finally get you the tour, and this is why you now get the most cozy and amazing flyover of this wonderful Hirsch zoo. And I really hope you guys are going to spot some very cool little Easter eggs and also some very cool little animals running around. Let's dive into it. And with that, we start our tour in this German-inspired Black Forest Natural Reserve. Just as a bit of trivia while we go into this turnstiled entrance over here, I'm still a big fan of the entrance sign over here. This is the original entrance, and as you can tell from the overall look and feel, this is very much the space that used to be the natural reserve, like a hiking spot. There's like a restaurant in the middle where people used to go after they've been for a walk or for a hike. But over time, you know, more and more animals were, you know, secured over here, rescued, and also taken care of. And so this is how the whole thing developed as an animal wildlife reserve. To the left hand side, this is the first biggest habitat we did at the very beginning 2 years ago. But now this is one of the bestest ones we have just fixed a couple of days ago. So if you haven't seen that episode, I highly recommend this. Very natural, and it's very hard to see some animals because they got so much privacy now. Anyways, this is where the common deer usually lives. On turning around, this is where we may potentially see a badger, or maybe not, because they're very shy. You very rarely see them in here. Maybe up there no, that's just like the water tap. But they are very often in their burrows, as they realistically would be. And this is like an area they can always go back into the wild. There are some little gates, almost like these little cat openings indoors. Oh, there's one badger on the left hand side. See, there's one just coming out of the little burrow. That is so cool. Yeah, I'm still a very big fan of this solution, because they just have that tiny bit of space over here for when they're getting cured. But once they want to go back into the wild, they can easily go into the common deer habitat and just enjoy their time. They better should not go into the habitat to the right hand side over here, because this is our lynx reserve. It's a very small chance that we see actually some lynx, because they are also very shy, and super often they are just in the back somewhere hiding away, because this is one of these few habitats which actually is a habitat. Oh, there's one, look at that, there are two sleeping just in front of us. So good. But while we're turning around and have a little bit of a closer look to the wooden framework over here, this one over here is one of the single ones which is really meant to be a habitat, because lynx usually do not really live in this area. So this is just really a rescue situation, and maybe to repopulate the area with the lynx, because in the very past lynx used to live there way more often. But they should better not go together with the common deer and stuff like that, because obviously that's food, you know. But yeah, all over I really loved having the lynx in, because it's my favorite cat in the game. I gotta say, I think it's by far the best model. It's super cute looking, but also at the same time it's the most realistic looking cat in the game. I'm still a big fan of the habitat itself. I think it looks really cool. You can see there is like a mom and their kid in the back, in the far back to the right hand side. You need to skip back actually to see that, because as I said, you need to really see that. And honestly, with pre-filming all of this, it's a little bit hard to catch things. So we are now on a tour ourselves, you and me, and we cannot control what's happening. This is the restaurant what I was talking about. There's actually a restaurant in there, and the whole interior is done. I really highly recommend checking out the episode as well. There's also like a little terrace over there where you can have a better look into the common deer area. But just as a little bit of pinch around, you can see how much focus we put on making everything look super natural and focused on the nature. So while we're going up this hill over here, this is where we go to the ibex habitat. You can see a bit of the back side or back area of the lynx area. And then there's just like a little bit of theming over here, having just a tiny bit of a wooden frame, nothing crazy, nothing fancy, because it's a frame, not a fence. Okay, sorry for that. But yeah, I thought also making this flyover will make the whole camera movement so much more enjoyable for you guys. Hopefully get me some feedback down below in the comments if you like it. It was just an immense pain to do it, but I do that for you. It's fine. Oh, look at that. There's one of the male ibex just in front of us. Are you going to use this this rock now for us. That would actually be amazing if you do that, but look, it's doing it. Oh my god. And now we are pinching away the camera. I don't believe it. That is such a stupid situation. But yeah, this is where like the little river is going down with a waterfall feature from the Ibex hill down into the area of the commandeer. Like a very little peekaboo in there, but you can see actually some moving in the background. If you take a very close look, you could have seen some of the commandeers. And now we rotate in a different part of the park where it's not actually as lush. And this is also the one of the small parts of the park which needs a bit of fixing. As you can see, the pathways and stuff are a little bit jagged, a little bit unfinished at this point. But that's just the last very bit we are going to do next time around when we go back, potentially next winter, I guess, into Hirschegg. But yeah, so this is the raccoon area. We have some very nice raccoon concrete domes, or not domes, it's kind of circles in which they live. They can go via tubes from one to the other, also via bridges from one to the other. You can see on the left hand side there's a bit of a water area for them to get a bit of cleaning done and a bit of swimming if they fancy doing so. And on the other hand side, left to our side, where the keeper is just in there throwing some food at them. Oh, look, there's actually a raccoon getting via the bridge. Oh, that is a good timing. Oh, it's turning around and going back for us. So yeah, we fly over here. You can see they're moving down here. You can see a little bit of the pipe where they can actually go down. There was a baby coming out of this pipe, and this pipe then leads down here into one of the other ones. But what we are going to focus now on is the red deer area. Still one of my favorite areas. Very mystical, very nice looking, and you've got this wonderful vista over here into the area. Look, there's actually the male red deer on the left hand side. The episode of this habitat also is very much almost at 60k views, which still amazes me. I really love doing this. It's super natural, and I thought that was one of the next level natural things. Speaking of next level, we also kind of glitched a little bit of a special in here. As you can tell, this is the burrow from Harry Potter. While there's, look at that red fox playing in the waterfall. Oh my god, that looks so freaking cute. I haven't seen that at all before, but I put like a little playground in there for them, hidden in the waterfall, and it actually works now. Well, we're flying from there over the wolf reserve on the right hand side, which is a tiny bit broken, so don't mind this too much. Maybe we're gonna spot some wolves in our area actually, because they can technically break out. I wonder why they do this in sandbox mode, because I actually have deactivated. Oh, look at that! You've seen actually, look at that on the left hand side. If you had your eyes peeled on the rock, you could have seen one of the Ibex using the rock enrichment. Love it. Yeah, now we go to one of the focal points of the park, which is this wonderful modern looking viewing tower on the left hand side, and we actually also have some little vending booth in here. Bit of trivia, these were done once we got the update, the free update of the boxless shop counters, and these were amongst the very first things I did with them, and I still believe they sell the ideas so super well of how much better this all looks. So yeah, to the right hand side, this is the wolf reserve, yet another of these habitats which technically isn't a habitat. So the fence is not here to fence in the wolves. It's actually just to secure the people from the wolves, because the idea is that the wolves are living in the free wild and they can actually go back into the forest whenever they wish. So that is part of the idea over here. So this is a security fence for the guest and not for the wolves. But we have actually changed a couple of things, so that is why certain things have changed over time, also in terms of how the storyline is. But still, this wolf habitat remains being a reserve. And then between the common deer reserve and the wolf reserve, we go down these newly introduced almost staircase. It's basically just like an incline-decline area with some wooden things in between to make it less slippery. And people, you know, help people not to slip down. And now we get into one of the transition areas of this forest, which is just like a forest area without too many animals. We have repurposed some of the huts over here into some actual guest areas. We still have some more vending booths over here, and we are going to have a little rotation around this wonderful tree. You can see in the background, this is where the staff area is, because with this whole park growing, there is a bigger need for staff, and we actually have a backstage area, but super well hidden in the park, super well hidden behind the trees and stuff, so it's not really bothering the people having a wonderful stroll through the wildlife reserve. And this is now the connection from the Hirschegg original area into one of the newer areas claimed by the park. And if you've been with me in season 2 now of Hirschegg, you know that every single habitat is driven by a storyline that you guys came up with. So a big thanks to all of you contributing all these stories. I'm still madly in love with every single story, and once this is fully finished, every single habitat will, as promised, receive a little plate on which the whole story is written down. I have all of you guys, all the stories are saved here on my notes book, and with the names who provided them. If you want to rediscover the stories at every single episode, we have the story at the beginning or closely to the beginning. I read out the story behind every habitat. So to the left hand side, there's the lake where the mute swans are roaming around. I'm just still such a massive fan of this area because it literally looks so realistic with the swans on the sea, on the lake. And honestly, the habitat just works beautifully. They have like a huge habitat which is in between all the other habitats, and they just roam around, and I've perfectly hidden it in the whole context now. And this is over here on the left hand side, the Wolverine Hill, super nicely enclosed, super secured, because this is on the backside of the wolf area, so we don't want the wolves to jump in here, and we also don't want the wolverines to jump out of the habitat into the wolf area. That wouldn't be too well for either of both. Yeah, unfortunately we haven't seen anyone. They are very good at hiding anyway. So yeah, rotating further, there's another hut over here. I placed all these huts in between because if you live in Germany or in Europe, you know that some of these strolls may end up in either a complete rain event or snow event, or in the summer, the less lush it is, the more hot it can become. By now, you know, climate change also didn't stop here, so our summers become hotter and hotter too, and sometimes it's very valuable, even in forest areas, to have some shade provided by a hut and not only trees. So that's that. And now on the right hand side, we have one of the most realistic habitats I have ever done for our friends over here. So just these piggies have the bestest time ever. I just kind of put a couple of commandeers in between just to make it look more nice, and I just really enjoyed that. It's a bit of a pity that this episode was either hidden away from YouTube again, or maybe wasn't too interesting for people. I also noticed that I seem not to have enough toilets in this zoo. People seem all to be prone to peeing. I wonder why they don't go, because we do have, I'm a German, I put toilets everywhere, so I don't know what they're having as an issue. But yeah, this is our sloth bear recreational area for them, I should say. Big fan of this. This was the first habitat we did in season 2 next to our souvenir shop. I love how this little lowered area over here turned out, where you have this nice glass viewing. They also have like a little bit of a enrichment item down here in which they can have a bit of a good time. This kind of a beaver dam pool which they can use. But yeah, I can't really see any of the sloth bears. What a pity that we don't really see that many animals. It's a bit of a bummer. But oh, I've seen one up there. As I said, they're good in hiding. All the animals are good in hiding. But yeah, oh my god, these people are super annoying, and I don't really know why, but they're like all the time I'm recording, they're stucking somewhere, or they have a need to pee. I thought I fixed all the issues because we had some issues with the souvenir shop whilst they were having issues at Frontier. So I never deleted that one from this file. Luckily, it never got corrupted, but still people get stuck in there, which causes them to annoy the heck out of me. But yeah, now we fly over to the next habitat, which is the Arctic fox one. It wasn't a DLC animal, at least not one of the latest DLC, but you guys also asked me to do it, and I'm still very happy with this sunken small one. They have a wonderful, realistic, overgrown habitat, which I guess they really do enjoy. Super realistic over here. I think this is the area where I mastered the forest vibes the best, because it was also very much to the end where I figured out every single piece that works together beautifully. So everything looks super natural, super lush, super foresty, very European, not too boring. And to the right hand side we have our Sega area, which uses this very nice sphere thing in the middle that I found from one of the concepts of a German wildlife reserve. I've forgotten what exactly that was. In the episode, I talk more about this, and I also have the concept art in the video, so if you're interested to that. But yeah, you can tell this was meant to grant enough privacy to our animals, because the Sega is a rather shy animal and requires enough privacy and also calms, and doesn't like loud people too much. So this is why I built this area for them. Look at them, they're also like, where are the animals? I've never seen the gesture, but this obviously is the gesture for when they can't see the animals. That is actually pretty cool. I would do the same, like, and just like having the hands to the side. But yeah, so we didn't see any taiga over here. It's a pity. As I said, I tried this 2 times and I recorded. This is actually the 3rd recording I'm doing right now, and it seems to be the one working. The frame rate is super amazing. Everything seems to be smooth, but we don't see an animal. While in the other 2 tours, we had the bestest animal encounters. Really, there were some really dope animal encounters from animal actually coming together. But look at that, the Tarkins are here to save our day. This is so cool. Look at the 2 Tarkins over there strolling around. Yeah, the Tarkin area, guys, is a very special one, because people... Actually, the reaction weren't that... Well, I can't even say what the reaction was, because there were very few reactions to the Tarkin habitat. But I personally love this. It may actually be my favorite one of the newest habitats we did, because it looks... fantastic. The placement of the habitat is great. Also, by the way, there was a saiga moving to the right-hand side, so at least we got a little peekaboo. And the hill in the middle is so cool, gives them like a bit of an interesting up and down interaction. They have a very cool shelter, like a very natural one. It's hidden in here, but they have a lovely big shelter in which they can get some privacy as well, and security in winter's time. Just in general, I'm a big fan of this, and specifically because the Tarkin is not necessarily an animal that you would have naturally around this area, so it would be one of the more special animals to visit this park for. So I was a bit confused to why. But yeah, this is also where we have our little, not Christmas market, but typical German market scene over here, with this huge bar in the center and some barbecue stuff around, and also these typical German standing tables. And yeah, this is wonderful. You can have a lovely look over here to the Tarkin Hill, where they can roam around, and there's like a big oak tree throning on top of it, and yeah, they just have a wonderful time. Look, they really don't have an issue showing themselves off. They're all over here, and I love it. Super cool. And now the last question is, will we see another Wiesent? Because the Wiesent habitat was potentially the biggest challenge of them all, because they usually have like a very open, blank, boring area, like from their requirements. It's not really much you need to do for them. They just need a lot of space and a lot of dirt and a lot of grass, and that's about it. So I tried to make this as, interesting as possible to the right hand side over here with a very natural fence. But yeah, as you've seen, we couldn't really spot anyone, so we actually do fly to this second bigger restaurant we have over here. This is our lake restaurant, from which we have a wonderful view over the entire lake area. Everything is super lush over here, and this is also where we use one of the coolest tricks, abusing the little tables we have in here, like the restaurant tables, to actually put people in the boats. But I really feel like something is broken over here, because usually this restaurant is super overflown and a lot of people are in here, but there's actually no one in here, because otherwise they would be sitting in these boats, which is really wonderful to see. And yeah, usually you can see a lot of swans roaming around here on the lake, but yeah, it seems really like animals didn't care for me this episode. Oh, there is one actually. Look at that. There is one in the grass, and one standing on this little island, some floating in the background. Yeah, and oh, look at that, there's one coming. Okay, I didn't say anything. They do the job, the swans. Makes it all, like, they are the perfect ambience animals, and I don't even mean that any way bad. I think it was a positive thing to say. They are a wonderful ambient animal. I really also would love to get some squirrels in here, so why not? Or like pigeons, or like give me animals that just fill the entire area with ambience, give me this would be so cool. But yeah, that's been it with this wonderful fly through, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm gonna fly over now with a bit of a nice ending scene, and I really wish you guys enjoyed this Hirsch egg. So as I said, this is going to be the sign off for now, not forever, but for now, because I want to refocus on Zoo Sicily and other wonderful areas, which I'm looking forward to quite a bit, because I've got so many ideas. There's also some very special planned for a realistic habitat I'm working on right now. And you better keep your eyes peeled on the channel. There's a lot coming in the coming weeks, and I'm so grateful that you guys enjoyed this series so much. So yeah, let me know what was your favorite of season 2, or maybe you're new to the channel and you haven't even seen the whole Hirsch egg thing, so please make sure to watch the entire playlist. And if you need any of those wonderful typical Europe animals, I highly recommend not only getting the Eurasian animal pack. If you don't own the Europe pack yet, first, what are you doing? And second, go down to the description, use my instant gaming link, and get this Europe pack for way under €5. I'm not sure what exactly the price is at the moment. But I've done the tier list too, and I put this very much into grade, because the Europe pack may actually be my absolute favorite of them all, despite being very negative about this at the beginning. But hey, this was Hirsch egg. I really hope you guys enjoyed this to the max. I did, and now I wish you a wonderful hump day. And I talk to you again on the weekend, so see you there in the next episode. Until then, have a lovely time, and goodbye.